So I have another scroll of rice paper, and this is the shiny side, this is the toothy side. So I'm going to collage a tea bag onto the shiny side using the gel medium. So what I like to do is sort of just eyeball it, and tea bags are very easy to tear. And we can like go hang it over the side, or like I'm going to do is tear it as I've measured it a little bit so that it's got a little bit of a border of the rice paper. Okay, see? And I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush for the gel medium. I want to do this. Actually, the tea bag sort of stretches when it gets a little bit moist, even with the gel medium. So what I'm going to do is actually put the gel medium right there on the rice paper. I can't find the brush. That's the perfect size. Oh, there it is. I like this brush. So, and I'm only going to do a short demonstration. We're not going to do the whole thing. I just wanted to give you an idea. I'm holding the tea bag up because I'm not going to go beyond the tea bag. But I'm putting the rice paper up on the magazine so I don't have to worry about not getting off of it. Now the rice paper changes, it gets a little bubbly when it gets moist too, as you noticed. Okay. Ta-da. So it gets a little bit bubbly. There we go. There's the tea bag on it. Okay, here's the part of our tutorial where I'm just going to show you how watercolor works on this rice paper. The bad thing about using, that rolled up side is I have to hold it down. And again, this is the toothy side, not the shiny side. So I really don't know how I'm going to, or what I'm going to use this song scroll for. So I like blue, and the blue can be water or sky or anything in between. So I'm going to get some blue mixed up on my palette. I'm not really demonstrating how to mix up watercolor. I'm wanting to get it pretty wet so that I can do a variation of light and dark. That's pretty dark. I forget what that blue is. I think it is, I think it might be indigo. It's either indigo or Windsor blue. Okay, I'm just gonna, and this is dry. I'm doing wet on dry. That's really dark. That actually could be indigo. Maybe this will be a night sky song scroll. It'd be kind of cool. So I'm going to dip my brush in the water and just kind of move this around some more. But see, the rice paper just sucks up the water, that toothy side. And then, see, that was such a deep, rich blue. So I'm just adding water and spreading it around. So we're not getting a big bunch of variation like we did in the Oceans song scroll. But that's okay. But look, you can see how transparent the rice paper gets right here where my paintbrush is pointing. See, I'll pick it up. And so you can see that it's not waterproof, but it's strong. It's like you can pick it up while it's wet and move it around and it's not going to tear. Now, if you put a little pressure on it, it might tear. And it's not because I have it too wet. You can get this rice paper super wet if you want. Now, the only way it'll tear is if you like scrub on it. That might make it tear, but I've never had that happen. All right. So I'm going to move this a little bit. And I'm actually going to let, now I'm going to put it down here. Whew. I didn't think it was going to get so wet. Let me do something. I'm going to try dabbing up some of this darker area just to see what happens. I'm really just experimenting and giving you an opportunity to see how the rice paper interacts with water and watercolor. You know, like on regular watercolor paper, you can dab a paper towel on it and pull up some of the watercolor. And so that's sort of happening here. And see, I'm just dabbing with the watercolor there. Okay, what I have down on my desktop surface is actually freezer paper, because it's got a toothy side and a slick side. So the slick side is down to capture all the water and protect my desk surface. And then the toothy side of the freezer paper is up. You know what? I've never actually tried to watercolor on freezer paper, but now I'm wondering if it'll act the same way that rice paper would act. I don't know that it'll be as toothy. It's definitely much thicker paper than rice paper. I'm just dipping my paper towel into the water puddle and bringing it over here. That is definitely the indigo watercolor. It's very pretty. I love the indigo. I just love the deep dark tone it has. Oh. See now, and I turn it over and see how you can see on both sides with the watercolor. So I really love the rice paper and all the unique ways it can act. So I'm going to show you how. I'm leaving some white spaces there. Like I said, I'm just experimenting and having fun. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of the water off the brush, put some more on. I need to lighten up that puddle some more. So if you remember, one of the things that happens with watercolor is the more water you put into it, the lighter it gets. I'm going to dip into the darker side. See how neat that is? One of the things I really like about watercolor is I'm a perfectionist, and the watercolor helps me give up control. Sometimes I like to keep the edges soft, sometimes I like to keep them hard, but really I'm just experimenting right now, letting you see the experiment go on. Da-da-da-da. So right there, that might be a little too hard. I'm going to go back in and pick up a little bit more color and then just dab right in there. We'll see what happens. I think that hard edge is not going to get smoothed out. Okay, and I just got to see how it's going to work, if I can dab any of that up. So that's one of the things about rice paper is in regular watercolor paper, when you just dab a dry paper towel on, you can pick up a lot of the color. But with rice paper, it really picks up and absorbs the color so fast that you really can't do the dab up. Okay. So this is what I've done. And it is drying over here where I thought it was so dark. It's drying pretty light. So the rice paper works the way regular watercolor paper does, that the watercolor dries lighter. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that for now and let it dry. I think you've gotten enough of a demonstration. Once this dries, we can go back in and add more color if we want to, or just leave it as is. You know, and I'm not minding it at all the way it is. So like if I added some white flecks of acrylic paint or of white acrylic ink, they look like stars. I think I've got the beginnings of a night sky. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Okay. I hope you enjoyed these little quick demonstrations. I hope you enjoyed the song scroll demo and that you try your hand at making your own song scroll or poetry scroll or even a verse scroll like I did with Psalm 27. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon.